Hey there, this is Linda and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be unboxing the April 2025 collection from Cocoa Daisy called Serenity and putting together a project. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, you guys, I was so surprised when I saw this one. I don't know what I was expecting for April, but this is just beautiful. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this box to the side and let's just look through this. So I'm gonna start with my classic cousin sticker kit, and I took some of the packaging off just to kind of prevent the rustle and everything and having to edit it out. But some of it I will still have to do. But for this one, I already took it out of the package, but this is my classic cousin sticker kit. If you're new to Cocoa Daisy, this is a great one for journaling and planning. It's designed to fit the Hobonichi cousin, but it works in a lot of journals and planners. And I like it because it's flat. So you have these rectangle shapes and labels. The labels I love to use in my scrapbook. And then there's some larger ones here. These are good for on your weekly spreads in the Hobonichi cousin, but you can use them elsewhere. There's always a planner sheet. This one is always like my favorite because I like the little word phrase strips, and then some more icons. And then here's some days of the week options, some helpful planner stickers, an alpha, a number set, and some strips that are like, it's like a washi strip, but it's not washi, it's paper. Only this one is washi, which has some washi strips and some cute icons. Just super pretty, great for spring. And then there's always a little sticker I get. So cute. Okay, let's start with the washi trio. Okay, so I am a huge fan of washi tape, so that's why I always pick up the washi trio, because I love getting just extra washi tapes that coordinate each month. Sometimes these are the same as the ones in my kit, or like one of them will be, but usually they're not. And I have found really good luck with getting this in addition to the two kits that I get that contain washi tape. So I love having the extra. This is just a beautiful cherry blossom one, which would be so great for spring. Here's a Asian fan. This would be really great if I was traveling to Asia this year. I am not, but I know I will be in the future. So I will be happy to have that one in my stash. Plus it's just pretty. And then here's another one. The third one is pink again. So this collection has a lot of pink, which I really like for the spring, but it's not like overpowering. And this one's more of like a watercolor floral, which is just super pretty. I'm gonna put those to the side and then go ahead and open up my stationery kit. Okay, this has this cute little sticker, enjoy the little things, a little pin, this little page flag. I'm wondering what this is. I think it's like a bookmark. I don't know, we'll see. Oh, it's a pen loop. So you could add this in your journal cover and then have a pen loop. That is so smart. I will have to think about where I want to use that. Actually, I'm just gonna put it back in the package for now so it doesn't get scratched up. I'm not gonna use it on a project. Okay, so this kit always comes with a couple smaller sticker sheets. We've got days of the week. I love that one. I'm obsessed. Okay, some other little stickers. A postcard, and this is always on like a thicker watercolor paper, which I really love. These are super cute. Then we've got, let's see, some clear stickers. You can see them on here. Oh, so pretty. A transparency and a vellum piece. So beautiful. Then we've got some die cuts. I love how the die cuts in this kit are always washi paper. I'm just obsessed with washi paper stickers. I think they're great for in my Hobonichi cousin because they're just a little thinner. So these are just going to be super cute. There's some florals, and I like that there's also the black and white florals, which would be really fun to just add in to spreads that I don't have pink on. We've got some words, Serenity, this little girl with her umbrella, very cute. And then these kits always come with like a sticky note pad, and I've been wanting to use these more in my cousin just to kind of segment my journaling. So I think, I think I'm just gonna put this one in here. So these are sticky, like sticky notes, but to add it in my cousin, I like to just use rolling adhesive so it sticks down the full way. And I will be able to use this to add just a little bit of extra journaling. I like to use these just as like a little journaling spot. Let's see if I can find one. So like here's one I used from an older kit just to add just a little something to that page. So it can highlight an additional story. If you struggle to kind of segment your journaling or feel like a huge page is too much, these are great. And I love that each kit comes with a huge stack of ones, so I have a lot of options in my stash to pull from. Okay, and then this month, instead of coming with a washi tape, this one's coming with a roll of washi stickers. That's so much fun. I love washi stickers like this. I feel like you get so many. And sometimes, I do cut images out of my washi tape, but this kind of takes that extra work out. And let me just stick that back on there. So you have like a lot of the different icons from the kit. Super cute. Just gonna roll this back up. Okay, I'm gonna move these guys into my tray here. So this year I'm trying to do something a little bit different with my organization, and I'm gonna work from having my products in a tray for the month. And let me just stick these guys in here and my washi. So it's all easy to kind of pull from, and I can pull it out when I wanna put projects together. So right now, when I just received this kit, is currently February. So I'm just gonna show you guys here. Here's my February tray for Penelope. So I have this already when I'm ready to put together a February spread. I also have my March one for Willow right here. And then this one is going to be for Serenity. And once I complete working with a kit, so like the January one, I'm already done because January is over. I have put that into my stash, what I didn't use, and I have trays to store new kits as they come in. And I think this is gonna keep it a little more organized. So I'm gonna put that to the side and open up my scrapbook kit because I am going to put together my first project using the scrapbook kit before I mix it into the rest of my stash. Okay, so I get the scrapbook kit with the pocket card add-on. So we'll look at the pocket cards in a little, but first let's start with the papers. So they started, I think maybe this year, with the white cardstock in here, which is just nice to have a little bit of extra for a base. And then the papers are double-sided. So we have this beautiful print and then a nice plain pattern on the back. This pattern, which I love. Oh, I also love that one. Here's this pattern, and then another pretty pattern on the back. The ones this month, wow, these are just so beautiful. There's usually like one that's a large image, I feel like, and those, while they're so pretty, sometimes I struggle to use them. So it's nice having just a pattern on the back. I think that one's my favorite though, this blue. Then we have our chipboard sheet. So this month, a lot of the chipboard pieces are the fans, which are super cute. But we also have some very just practical icons and words. I love the styling of this, my current favorites. Then, of course, a washi tape. this washi still coordinates with the collection, but it's just way more practical, I think, than the ones in the washi trio. I could use this in way more spreads. I just think it's more universal. So that's a great one for a scrapbook kit. Because although I love this theme, it's so pretty, I have yet to make it to Japan. I have been to DC a number of times, and the cherry blossoms there are so pretty as well. So I could definitely document a story about that, but I am probably going to use these supplies in something that's not themed. So I like that there's some products that just have a slight nod to the theme, but are just more universal. So here's the rub-ons. I super love those. Some alphas. Puffy words. These are like foam, and I'll have to punch those out. The centers haven't yet been punched out, but these are some great words for scrapbooking. Okay, so this kit also has a die cut set, and just like the ones in the stationery kit, these are stickers, but these ones are not washi paper. They are cardstock, and I find that they're just more suited for scrapbooking. So like we've got some labels here, which are super helpful. I always need labels. This nice tag that you can definitely add some words on. Some simple sentiments. And of course, more of the motifs from the collection. Some enamel dots. The sticker this month is super cute. I really like these shapes, which would be great for homes for journaling or embellishments. Then these puffy stickers. I think I say this every time that one of these types of puffy stickers comes in the kit, but I think this is my favorite embellishment type that Cocoa Daisy makes. I just love the way their puffy stickers come out. So pretty. Most of these are just the florals, which I can use on pretty much any spring layout, but then there's still the nod to the Japanese fans and text. Okay, now the cards. Super beautiful. So what I'm going to do is push this to the side and get started on my first project using the Serenity collection. Okay, I know this looks super cluttered, but I thought it would be fun to kind of bring my album in here and just show you where I am, because If you are new here, what I am doing this year is filling in my daughter's album for the corresponding month of the kits from Cocoa Daisy in 2021. So it is currently 2025, and her album has a ton of gaps in it. And what my plan is to have 2021 completely done in here by the end of 2025 by using the Cocoa Daisy kits. So I'm just gonna quickly show you where what I have so far. And I had some other things in here. So like this is from, I had probably made this in 2021. And this was using like a story kit from Ali Edwards in January. And then I made this one using probably a quarterly scrapbook kit from Ali Edwards. Then here's the January recap that I did using the January Cocoa Daisy kit. Here's the February recap. I had her report card in here, so I'm just leaving that. Here's what I did for March. So now we're in April. The only thing I have in here for April is this 8.5 by 11 page that I made probably back in 2021 using a scrapbook kit from Ali Edwards and maybe some just like random stash things. And on the back of it is something from October. So I'm probably going to remove that when I get to May and put May in here. I can see I have like a June thing here, which was with Cocoa Daisy last year. I did that. So that will probably have to be worked into my May spread. But for now, I'm just going to keep this as with April. April's gonna go on the back of this. So I'm gonna take this out. But then I was trying to think about like what stories I had. So this is my 2025 take a note planner, and this is like my functional planner, but I'm using it for all sorts of random things. So what I did was I went back in my Project Life album from 2021 and wrote down all of the things that happened during this month, all of the stories I wanted to tell. And it turned out there was a lot going on in April of 2021. So in addition to this, I pulled over this divided page protector that's a 9 by 12. And kind of, I don't really want to include any 12 by 12s in the month, so like that April, it can have all of the things like sandwiched in between here before the May recap. So I think I'm gonna use this 9 by 12, but I was looking at my photos and stuff, and I actually think I'm gonna trim this down to a 6 by 12 and do 2 spreads. So I'm gonna move this album out of here so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. Okay, and then I'm gonna trim this one down just so that it's easier to visualize and I have less stuff here. Okay, so my plan is to do my April recap on the back of this and then do 2 additional spreads for April, pocket page spreads, using this 6 by 12 insert that's got 6 pockets. And so I was looking at the stories from April 2021. And we started the month with Easter, and we had a super busy Easter. So I'm going to do Easter on this insert, which these photos are all from Easter. This one actually is too, but I'm gonna put it on the regular recap. And then these were from Easter. We did this like photo shoot, and you saw in my album, there was a photo of me and my daughter from here that I documented, but I didn't include any of the ones of just her yet. And I wanted to just do that. So I'm going to make this insert using 4 of these, and I probably will like stagger them and add some cards in here. And then on the other side, I'm gonna do Easter. And then I'm gonna do this spread is my regular recap. So I'm gonna put you guys on voiceover, and I think I'm gonna just put all 3 of these together. So let's go ahead and get them done.
Okay, so I decided to start with the Easter insert because I felt like that one would be the easiest. I pretty much had just photos for 5 pockets, and then there was the card in the kit that said Easter Memories, which was perfect to just do some longer journaling about the day. Now, it is 2025, and this is Easter 2021, so I don't really remember the details of the day that much, but thankfully I had my Project Life album from 2021 off camera, and I had journaled about this in my Project Life album, so I was able to pretty much copy that over. I didn't do it exactly, but I did kind of use that to guide my journaling and tell the story of everything that we did this day. So for me, I don't mind duplicating these stories, or I want to duplicate these stories because my Project Life albums are for me. They're my story, they're my life. I document them specifically for me, and this is my daughter's album for her. And I don't know when she's going to want these albums or if she's even going to want these albums. I expect her to because she does seem to enjoy them, but probably not until she's well out of college and settled in her own place will she take these albums, which is great because it gives me plenty of time to finish them. But I like to repeat stories in them that have to do with both her and me so that she has the story documented, but I also have it documented in my own album, if that makes sense. So they are going to be told in slightly different formats. They will sometimes use different photos. Like some of these photos did end up in my Project Life album, but other ones did not. Often I end up putting more photos in this album of her because, again, my Project Life album is focused on me, and while my daughter is a big part of my life, especially when she was younger and living at home, and she showed up in most of my spreads, she was not the primary focus. I would document her stories about her, of course, but this album is more, just focused on her and her life. So especially photos of like her with her friends and stuff that I was not present for, those rarely show up in my Project Life album. They will occasionally, especially if I just didn't have anything else going on that week. But typically I would document just stories that I was a part of, whereas this album is focused on her and everything that is going on in her life. So I hope that helps kind of distinguish the two and focus on why or how I repeat those stories, because that is a question that I have gotten in the past about, how I do that or why I do that. So anyways, back to what I'm working on. I finished my journaling, and so I'm just using pieces from the scrapbook kit to embellish my spread. There were some of the labels in the die cut set, so those were great for adding a few little details to a couple of the photos. I added one of the chipboard pieces on that photo of my daughter between those two like rock walls, and I think you saw, or you might have already seen, I can't remember if I already did it yet, but I love this washi tape and I wish I had layered it behind that chipboard piece, but I didn't. And I was considering trying to rip it up and put it under there, but it didn't work. So it's okay. It just didn't end up on there. But I wanted to do a little bit of layering, so I added the washi tape with one of the puffy flowers to each of these die cut pieces, just to add a little bit of something else to to create an embellishment cluster. And then I decided to move on, but rather than do the back, I'm going to do the pocket page spread first. So this is my main monthly recap. So every month in her album, I am doing a monthly recap that is on one of these page protectors, and that is going to be standard every single month. And then some months will have additional inserts, and some will be more pocket pages like this month. Some months will have traditional layouts, just depending on what makes sense for that month based on the stories that I want to tell and what makes sense for what I'm feeling like documenting, because my goal is to finish each month by the end of the month using these kits. And I do have some things documented in her album already, like you saw, and I might add in there using other products, but this is my main focus, using these Cocoa Daisy kits this year in addition to using them in my Project Life album, so that I can try to get this album completed through 2021 by the end of 2025. So moving to what I'm actually working on here, you can see I kind of laid out what I wanted in each pocket. I'm just kind of going through the cards and trying to figure out which one I want for that card next to that photo of her with her friend. So that's an example of a photo that probably wasn't in my Project Life album, because it's a photo of her and one of her friends, and I believe I just saved it as a screenshot from her Instagram at the time, which is something that I used to do very often, to grab photos of her with her friends and her life, outside of me and at home. The rest of these photos, 3 of them were from a hike we took, and the one in the top right is from Easter. It was an additional photo that I decided to put on here instead of my Easter spread, just because I wanted it printed horizontally, and that spread was already pretty full. And then there's that close-up photo of her after she got her hair done when we went to dinner, which I liked including because it's just a good snapshot of what she looked like at this particular point in time. I really love these puffy words in the kit, and I wanted to use a couple of them on this spread, so this looked like a good opportunity to use one with this photo of her friend. I could have put another 4x6 photo in this pocket, but I already had a decent amount of photos, and so I decided to choose a vertical photo so I could pair it with another card, just so that I could have a little bit more of a resting place between my photos. When the spread is entirely photos, it sometimes can feel a little bit overwhelming or cluttered, and I just didn't want to have that happen here. And I wanted to use more of the products from the kit. So I was able to kind of put a piece of washi tape on there and then add the title that says memories across it, and it fit really well because it is on a 4x6. Here I'm going to do another one on top of this photo of me and my daughter on swings on a hike that we went on, and I wanted to just add a little bit more of the story on here. So I'm going to add one of the die cut labels from the kit and add just a few more details on there of where we were and what we were doing. Even though I think it's going to be on the bullet point list of the stories, I just wanted to identify it because in the future, looking through this album, she might not remember where we were. I wanted to put the word spring on here because that's kind of, indicative of what was going on in the photo. We were finally getting outside. Where we live, it gets super cold and snowy in the winter, so we don't spend a lot of time outside. And you can see from these pictures, we definitely spent a lot of time outside in April because it's kind of the first month where you really can, and we felt very cooped up, especially for my daughter at this age being a teenager. I believe she was 15 at this point in time. I'd have to do the math, but that sounds right. I think she was in her sophomore year of high school, and she's at that age where she really just wants to be out with her friends. But again, this is 2021, so we're still in the pandemic, and that's still impacting our lives. So it's a lot of getting outside and spending time outside where the air is a little bit safer, and just not being cooped up in the house anymore. I'm moving on to this journaling card, which is a list of favorites. And I wanted to just list out the highlights from this month on here. And I'm going to use my favorite wooden alphabet stamp set that I use pretty much on like all of my projects. You guys know I use this thing all of the time. I do have a link in the description box below if you're interested in picking it up. I got it on Amazon and I highly recommend. I love it for my journal, for my scrapbooks. It's just a great set. So I wrote on my planner there a list of the words that I wanted to stamp out to tell the story of what was happening this month. And these are just kind of summarizing. So we did include Easter on here, even though that was not one of the things that is really documented on this spread. This is the overview. And then, of course, it's going to be next to those inserts in my album. I'm just going through and stamping. When I do alpha stamping like this, I don't stamp the words one word at a time. I go back and forth trying to use the same letter as many times as possible. It's a little bit silly, but it makes it a little more entertaining to me to do it that way, I guess. I don't know, but it's fun. And so I'm just documenting, she was on spring break. It was Easter. We went for a hike for Earth Day, so that's what that hike is about. And we went to Saratoga, which is a city near us, to go shopping and just like have a day up there. And we also went to the movies a few times. So those were the highlights that I kind of documented this month. And it was really fun to look back on this and see like all the family activities we were doing because life has changed so much now that she is not living at home. Something else that I get questions about and I wanted to just kind of address is I've gotten divorced since this point in time, and so I don't really document stories for myself with my ex, but for my daughter's album, I want to because he's still obviously a big part of her life. So I will include photos of her with him because I know that she's going to want that when looking through these albums. So that's why those do sometimes find their way into my spreads. Of course, I don't include it as much as I do photos with me, but that's partially just because it's kind of from my perspective, and I also have more photos with me because her and I like to take photos a lot. So there are often way more photos of the two of us that I have to choose from. I'm doing a little bit of journaling, responding to each of these kind of topics, just giving a little more of the story of what we did for that activity or that day. And again, I'm pulling this information from my Project Life album because that is really where I have this story documented most thoroughly, because I did document Project Life at the same time. I tend to do Project Life pretty much in real time. Maybe I work a month or two behind, but never years behind. And that's just what works for me. If you are trying to go back and document Project Life at this point in time, hopefully you have some notes. If not, there are obviously things that you can still do from memory or from your photos. It's still worth it to document whatever you can remember. But going forward, I highly recommend keeping some notes and just documenting those details, because even if you're not going to scrapbook them right now, having those words kind of written down, and even if you do like a notes app and just make like a bullet point list of the stories of what happened during the month, then you always have that to go back on and create your projects, even if it's 5 years later, like this is for me. Or I guess it's 4 years later, but still, it's a long time later. So back to what I'm doing here. I wanted to do something else in that space. It seemed a little bit big, so I decided to put this tag on here and a chipboard piece, and then just add a little bit more of the story. This is a photo of my daughter and one of her best friends from high school, and they were just hanging out together. And again, like I said, this is the pandemic time, so they were she was seeing her friends again, but not as often as she had before, no like sleepovers and stuff. So I just wanted to document how happy she was to spend some time with her friends and get away from her parents, because of course she's 15. But there are also photos of her with me and all of the activities that we did this month. I really love how this spread came out. I think it's a great reflection of everything that happened during the month, and I'm super happy to put it into her album. So now I'm moving on to the final spread. This one I decided to pull some supplies from the rest of the collection, not just the scrapbook kit. So those first two spreads that I did, I used exclusively the scrapbook kit and pocket card add-ons in case you only get that kit and you want some ideas for what you can create with it. But for this one, I'm going to pull from some of my other products. So I'm using some of the pocket cards to fill the pockets, but I'm also thinking about using some of the supplies from the cousin sticker kit in this album. So the cousin sticker kit is obviously designed for the Hobonichi cousin, and I use it in there pretty frequently, but you can also use it in your scrapbook pages, and I really wanted to do that here. So I created my own kind of customized filler card by putting one of the stickers, there's all these rectangular stickers on the cousin kit, on top of one of the pattern 3x4 cards. And I just love the way it came out. And there's so many possibilities there because there's so many of those rectangular stickers in the kit. And there's so many of the solid kind of patterns that work really well for background. So you can kind of make your own filler card that fits whatever sentiment you want to include. If you don't get the pocket card add-on, but you do get the cousin sticker kit, you could do the same thing by cropping down some pattern paper and putting the sticker in the center of that. I'm using the word phrase strips that came in the cousin sticker kit to embellish some of my photos, just pairing two of them from different colors on a few of the photos, and then adding some of the chipboard pieces. There were these really cute arrows on the chipboard set, and I thought it'd be fun to add them to two of the photos, kind of pointing inward to the center of the spread, just to kind of help guide your eye to the center of the project. That's going to wrap up this project. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim things down and slip them into the pockets and call this one done. I will probably go back and add a label or a tab on this just so that it sits better in the album. But for now, this is going to be the completed project. Here's a look at how it came out, and there'll be more images on my Instagram. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And as always, I hope to see you guys on the next one. Bye.